go. Thursday, live. I'm just putting the title in here. We are talking today all about the changes that released almost a week ago now in CrossFit and the CrossFit Games. So, if you have any thoughts, put them down in the comments. Hello, whoever you are that just joined. Thank you very much for joining. We're talking about the change in CrossFit today, guys. Recently, a week ago, on Morning Chalk Up, the CrossFit Games were quoted. Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit, was quoted about the changes that he's making to the CrossFit Games. So, if you're involved in CrossFit, if you have an opinion, put it in the comments. That bit down there, and then we have a conversation. That's the idea of live. Otherwise, I just record a video and talk to myself. Well, I'll talk to myself, or I'll talk to you guys until someone writes something down there. O-Train, you've just joined all the way from Australia. I know you've definitely got some thoughts on this. You've done some CrossFit competitions down there. How does that change things for you, mate, now that things have changed a little bit? What are your thoughts? For those of you who want, this is gonna be 10 minutes long, so I can stick it over on Instagram TV. Go and check out all of the lives that we've done over on Instagram TV and a load of other stuff that I put up there. Now, we've also done a podcast on this, released a special podcast on this on Tuesday. So if you're really interested to get an in-depth analysis of everything that went on, Andre and I spoke about that on Tuesday's podcast. Hello, One Cherry Hill House. That's my mom or my dad. I'm not sure which it is. I wonder if they've got an opinion about the changes in the CrossFit Games. One of the biggest changes that we're seeing here is that a layer of the CrossFit Games called regionals has been removed. So now we go from the open. So the open competition is where anyone can do that event anywhere in the world. It normally runs between end of Feb for 5 weeks. It's gonna run like that this year or this coming 2019, but then that's gonna move to October. And then what we generally see is that the top people from each region from the open then go to the regionals and regionals level. From the regionals, they then select the best 4 or 5 athletes depending on the region and invite them to the games. Regionals is now going to be completely removed. So there is no regionals. What's going to happen is the fittest person in each country after the open will be invited directly to the CrossFit Games. Therefore, every single country that has a CrossFit affiliate has a chance to send someone to the CrossFit Games. Therefore, there's a few therefores here, but therefore, if you now go and open a CrossFit affiliate in Timbuktu and you do the open there and you are the fittest person in that country, you win the open for Timbuktu, you'll be invited to the CrossFit Games. Whether you're the best athlete in a region no longer matters. They don't care anymore. Why have they done this? This is a massive move, really, for a lot of people. And a lot of people have turned around and said, well, we won't get the best people at the Games. I think that's absolutely nonsense. You'll get the best people in the world at the Games. You'll still get the fittest man in America will represent America in the CrossFit Games. Let's jump in. O-Train says he thinks it's silly. There isn't enough CrossFit affiliated competitions. So you don't win in your country, you're supposed to fly to countries to try and qualify. Very expensive way to do it in a sport with little money. Yeah, I agree, mate. And I don't agree that it's the wrong move. I actually think that this is a great move. I'll put that out there straight away. I think it's a great move because what it's doing is, Greg Glassman has said that the CrossFit Games regionals is costing him a lot of money. We did a little bit of analysis into that on the podcast the other day, and actually we think it's probably kind of breaking even, but it doesn't make him money, and he's a businessman, he wants to make money. What makes him money are the CrossFit affiliates. CrossFit affiliates pay an affiliate fee of around $3,000. I think it's a bit more expensive these days, and all of that money goes to CrossFit. They have $15,000 at the moment, and they don't have to do any work for that money. So it's something that's really interesting, the financial side of it. What it does, however, is it puts a focus from CrossFit to have more affiliates globally. So a lot more countries, they say that they're gonna put an effort into opening affiliates in a lot more countries, which is actually super cool to grow CrossFit, don't you think? Salem says, just like the World Cup, England has 10 good teams, but they can only send one to the World Cup. Absolutely, and isn't it, this was something we spoke about a little bit on the podcast the other day as well. Isn't it maybe moving down the line a little bit of the Olympics, where Each country might have a CrossFit federation, and then they would send the best person. O-Train's absolutely right that it can get expensive. But if you speak to anyone who does an Olympic sport that doesn't get a lot of funding, they actually commit and dedicate a massive amount of their lives. During that time, they don't get much money, but it's their dream to go to the Olympics. Also at the Olympics, for a lot of countries, some countries there is some funding, but for a lot of countries there's absolutely no money in it anyway. And I want to ask people, like, why are you doing the sport? Is it for money? Are you a professional sports person? It's kind of difficult. James says, what about age issues? CrossFit is only for the young. True. And what CrossFit have not confirmed on, the funniest thing is that all this news was released on a website called Morning Chalk Up, which is quite a reputable source. CrossFit so far, to my knowledge, have not spoken out about it. They haven't had an official press release. But what it said in that article, James, is the age categories are not sure what they're going to do yet. There is an open, a master's option, which you could actually join in and you probably win and you probably go to the games. If I trained you, obviously. So there is a master's option. There's age categories at the moment. There's teens as well. But I want to speak a little bit about that. Like, who actually tuned in and watched the teens version of the CrossFit Games or the Masters that didn't know anyone in it? They had a big media team. They produced all the same content. They videoed it. They did highlight shows. They had commentators there. For what? Where's it actually reaching? Dennis says, indeed, it makes CrossFit a lot more international. I think it does as well. I think it gives someone a chance. And the example that we used in the podcast the other day is that there's a CrossFit affiliate in Pakistan. We thought there was one, or there's maybe two. Check the map. Someone from Pakistan next year is going to go to the CrossFit Games. What is that going to do for the growth of CrossFit as a fitness solution, as a lifestyle solution within Pakistan? He's going to become a national hero for that. So actually it's massively positive. What happens when he gets there, you could argue that it's not a big spectacle, that blah, 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 but you're still at the top end of it, presuming that you think this guy's not super good, at the top end of it, you're still going to get all the best people in the world. You're going to get the best American, the best English, the best Italian, the best French. You're going to have a really good top 10 still. And I can guarantee you, again, unless they are one of your friends, who knows who came from 30th to 40th in the CrossFit Games. Generally, people don't really care. That's the way it goes. John Boy says, how will rookies improve? Matt Fraser only became the best after losing to Ben Smith. What about the Canadian rivalry between Fikowski and Vellner? That one is a massive one, mate. And I'm interested to see what CrossFit do if it is only one registrant per country, one for America, one for Canada, because yeah, Fikowski's going to go against Vellner. One of them's not going to make it. It's a bit unfortunate. A lot of people maybe are going to miss out that you could say are technically good enough, but I think in the overall growth of the sport, it's actually super cool. Salim says, I think some local competition will be way more competitive than the games, just like NBA versus Olympics basketball. Yeah, and this is the opportunity. The opportunity is for fitness competitions like Dubai Fitness Competition. The Aphrodite Games that they mentioned, they've got some big competitions in the UK, big competitions in Europe. For that level of competition to get a lot bigger, and for us as enthusiasts of the sport to kind of get involved in as well, and to become part of and to go and support our friends at. And I think that's one of the things as well. Like, you look at the moment, Dubai Fitness Championships doesn't have a great spectator pool. If there was more people that you knew and less people coming from all outside just because it's got a big prize purse, would there be more support for it? So that's almost 10 minutes in quick summary of this topic. It's radical, it's hit a big chunk of people. There are arguments one way or the other. But for the overall growth of the sport, I think it's fantastic, or for CrossFit as a whole, in all these developing countries and globally, I think it's absolutely fantastic. There'll be a little bit of an adjustment period. Some people don't like change. Get used to change. It's okay. It's actually super healthy. That's my thoughts on the changes in CrossFit. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Have an awesome day.